didn't understand.
It's a lot.
Yeah, it's a lot.
Are you going to try to?
If we ever finally decide to move back to Japan.
みんな始まるよー。あ、カメラのスイッチ入れ忘れた。そういうことが信じられない夫。そういうことを普通にやってしまう妻。Why are you married with me? My name is Yuko.
And I'm Bill.
And we married about 50 years ago.
But today we're here to talk to you about being bilingual.
Yeah, so today I was going to talk about the side of the aspect of raising a kid being a bilingual. Make sense?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
ちょっとね、日本語わからないので英語を喋ります。でも多分サブタイトルが出てるので大丈夫です。今日はですね、バイリンガルに育てるっていうことで、まあいろいろな難しかったこと、逆に言えば良かったこと、いろいろお伝えしたいと思いまして、こんなビデオを作りました。So can I ask you?
Yeah.
Why do you want to raise your kids being a bilingual?
So for me, I thought about it a lot even before we got married, and I thought it would be good for our kids if they were raised bilingual.
Why?
I'm getting there. So that they would have more opportunities. You know, basically, if you only know English, then you can only live in an English environment. But if you know English and you know Japanese, then you can live in Japan, or you can live in the United States, or you could live in Canada or England, be able to be bilingual, or use your bilingualism.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's all?
Yeah. Next.
Okay. So for me, I want them to be being a bilingual so that they can speak both parents. Makes sense.
You're gonna have to edit this along.
Okay. So then also, I think, you know, like I said, because English is such a common language, you know, yes,
Yeah.
common second language is English.
Yeah.
So that's, they can explore everywhere. They can have more chance maybe. They can have more opportunity, it's the same things, but
Yeah.
they can get to talk, they understood more, you know, so many chances out there. And then, you know, okay, Japan thinking like this way, states think this way. So they can stand in the middle to figure out what they think, I think.
Yeah, I think that's a good aspect too. And then also when you learn a second language, it's kind of easier to learn multiple other languages, but also...
But you think so?
Yeah.
Like really?
Yeah, I think so, really. But also then when you travel, a common language, you know, in Europe or other countries that you travel is English, and so you have that.
So.
But
So.
Next question.
So no, I have three reasons why I wanted to be a bilingual. Because basically I cannot speak English very well. I think that's the bottom line. Since I'm moving in the States, it's super uncomfortable to start with. And I need some comfy area that I can speak Japanese. That was my boys. I think that's a
Yeah, I
thing,
think
you know?
when you have somebody who you can speak your native language with, where you don't have to worry about what you say or how you say it,
Right.
I think that's what gives you comfort.
Right. So next question is, what is the hardest things raising a kid as a being a bilingual for father's side?
For father's side.
Yes.
Well, I can give a lot of reasons for your side.
No, it's a father side. Probably the monster.
Yeah, so when we lived in Japan, our boys obviously weren't fluent in English, and so that was tough.
Because he was away from in Korea a
Yeah,
year.
I lived in Korea for a while,
That was good.
and then even when I came back, I worked a lot of hours. And so I would come back home late at night and usually be able to spend about 30 minutes with the boys, and then they would go to bed. So it was just a really small amount of time to be able to spend. They were fluent in Japanese, and I didn't understand. And they didn't speak English fluently, and so when I wanted to talk to them or when I wanted to tell them something, they didn't completely understand. So that part was frustrating. But of course, they were young. And young kids are very adaptable. But what else is there? Well, so the other part that was difficult is
you must have more.
Yeah. So when they started going to school in an American school system, they weren't native, they weren't even fluent speakers of English yet. And so they struggled. And so that was tough to see. I remember they would come home sad and frustrated with not being able to speak English, not being able to communicate with their teacher, or not being able to communicate with the other kids as much as they wanted to. We're not going to hear.
Is it on?
Yeah, it's on. You want me to check it?
Yeah, please. So 一番難しかったのはね、やっぱりね、So the most difficult part for me, they don't have to speak Japanese at all.
Oh, right.
Once you are living in the States, why do you have to? You don't have to.
They didn't have, but
Kids are under the situation.
But you obviously speak Japanese primarily.
Yes.
And you wanted the boys to speak in your language.
Yes.
So that's the
speaking,
part.
that's what I'm saying.
That's the part that it's good for you to be able to communicate with them. So it's not like they were learning Japanese for no reason. They were learning Japanese for the ability to communicate with you. And then also, you know, when you would go back to Japan, they could communicate with your parents.
But
so it wasn't like for no reason.
Yeah, no reason. Take that words back. Probably the frustrating for them. Why do I have to speak? Yes, they have to because mom cannot. But on the other hand, they don't understand why they have to write and read and write. Right?
Speak, read, or no.
Why they have to read and write?
Yeah, they could just speak.
They could.
Yeah.
So many people like that. They ask me like why we have to write and read, which is for me very important. Make sense?
Completely. But I think that's the most important part. If you can speak and read and write, then you have a lot more capability. You know, the world opens up to you. If your ability is English, speak, read, and write, Japanese, speak, read, and write, you can go to any country, you know, either Japan or an English-speaking country, you know?
Yeah. So, and then the hardest part is when my kids are talking English, sometimes I don't understand it. So I feel like lonely. Because that's not something that I'm familiar with. So when boys are talking to him, I'm in a Japanese environment. That's exactly how I feel. I'll eat it.
No.
And another thing.
Yeah.
Did you prepare? I prepared, okay.
I didn't prepare.
Yeah, I know.
But go ahead.
It's okay. When they get older, a certain age, I could say Kai's age, 13, 14, like a teenager, speaking second language.
He wants to avoid
my language. So that's. Do you regret raising your kids being a bilingual or not?
No, not at all.
Okay. Me too. I'm not regretting at all.
I mean, hopefully it's. Well, I don't think there's
So,
any
wait a
negative. The only negative is that you take a lot of time to teach them Japanese. Of course, now they're in an American school system, And so they learn English at school, you know, to be at a educational level of English, but then you also teach them Japanese through the Japanese curriculum that you get from the embassy. So
it's a lot to do.
Yeah, a lot, but I think it's good for their future.
I think so. So, fourth question, do you have an ambitious? You want your kids to be, my kids needs to be like this because I raised this way.
I think the only thing is I hope they keep both languages. You know, I hope they don't abandon one of the languages that they've learned, at least be able to speak, read, and write at a certain level, so that if they want in the future to live in a particular country, they can continue to use their language.
So this is the last question. Do you wish to be a bilingual?
Do I wish to be bilingual?
Yeah. Or you don't really need it?
No, I wish I could. Yeah, for sure.
Why?
Well, because then I could communicate with you in Japanese and be like a native speaker, or close to a native speaker in Japanese, and be able to communicate with you, you know, with no obstructions, no language obstructions.
Right.
But I don't. I can't.
He does.
So,
Are you going to trying to?
Yeah, I keep telling myself yes.
Committing.
And then I start, and then I stop.
Quit.
So I think if we ever finally decide to move back to Japan, probably I'll start really getting serious to learn more. Yeah, I think so.
I hope so.
Because, well, I don't know how far I can.
Yeah, you will. So, それで So, if I wanted to be a bilingual, yes, I do. I want to be a bilingual.
Well, you are bilingual.
No, bilingual.
I consider you bilingual.
So, this is we always talk about this.
Yeah, so listen to her speak English.
Yes, but I'm not bilingual.
She has a very small accent. So we consider that bilingual. But there's a difference. There's bilingual, and then there is native speaker.
Yes.
Our boys are native speakers for Japanese and for English.
What do you say? Like a native speaker, but the bilingual.
So you would say I'm bilingual at a native level. Read,
so you
write,
have to say that as a native speaker level.
So it's like qualifying how proficient you are as a bilingual. You're qualifying it as a native speaker, and so that would be the top level, right? But you can be bilingual with an accent, and obviously you're not a native speaker.
To say bilingual, but not native level.
Right.
So bilingual, as long as you can speak like in a daily life, can I have a glass of wine, or can I just rip off this a piece of paper?
Rip up.
You are rip up piece of paper. You are bilingual. I was completely wrong. The stereotype is completely wrong.
You and I are having a conversation.
Right.
By English.
Right. That's called bilingual?
That's bilingual. You know, you don't have any barriers to speak English.
But I still do, in my mind.
But yeah, so it's in your mind. But if you had to go, for instance, if you had to go to the Department of Motor Vehicle to renew your license plates, you could do that, right?
Barely.
So you're bilingual.
だってだからバイリンガルっていうのは本当に完璧じゃなくてもいいみたいだからバイリンガルって言えちゃうということで So this is the last question and how was that first interview? Okay. Thank you for watching.
Thank you. ありがとうございます。
はい。Then bye bye.